Realize we're often unprepared, be it attacks or even fires or home break-ins. The question is, what should you do when your child calls you in such a moment of distress?
Yeah, what are the right questions to ask and the right things to say? Security and safety trainer Randall Xiao, he's also the founder of a training agency called Exile Solutions that deals with areas such as self-defense and de-escalation. Randall, welcome to Q&A. What's the first thing we should do when we get a call from our child who is in distress in an emergency?
Hi everyone, Randall here. I think the first thing that in order to do, since my child is calling me, then as a parent, my first goal is to reassure the child and ask him or her to stay calm. Now, in order to do that, I myself must be calm. Of course, I may be affected by the situation, but I think we must not subject ourselves to this thing that we call the hysterical arachnid syndrome. That means I myself should not be a kanchong spider, because if I start to panic, my child will panic. So I must be able to be calm and then transmit this notion of mindfulness and reassurance to the child. Now, some schools have a morning mindfulness routine, which I found very useful. So one thing I can share as a parent was that when my kids were starting to sleep in their own room for the night, they used to get night anxiety. So we would get mobile apps to download to help them to sleep. And then my daughter actually told me, we do this box breathing routine in school to calm ourselves down and prepare ourselves for the day. So parents and child, if we can find out what practices they are practicing in school already for mindfulness and calm, then during moments of crisis like this, we have a common routine that we can share that will ground us together and at the very least, center ourselves around what we need to be and then be able to make good decisions thereafter.
Indeed, and information is needed when we want to talk about making good decisions. So in this moment of distress, you're right, we need to stay calm. And during this period of staying calm, what are some of the critical information we must get from our children in order to give them the help they need?
So in this process, as a parent, I think I focus on my child. I leave policing to the police, I leave operations to the operators. So I must recognize that at this moment, the degree of help that I want to provide and I can provide, despite my best intentions, despite whatever capabilities I think I have, is actually limited because I'm not on site. I'm not aware of the full context. So the first thing I think I would ask my child is, are you hurt? If they are hurt, to what degree? So SG Secure has this protocol, press, hide and tell. You can find information on the website. So I would, if my child is severely hurt, I ask them to apply direct pressure to the wound. If my child is in an unsafe location, then the first thing they need to do is move to somewhere safer. Next is, are there adults around and are adults aware and taking action? So if they are, then the best thing for the child to do, since I'm not on site, is to find an adult and follow the adults and the institution's protocol. Schools have their own safety protocols, we follow them. If it's in a public place, security, law enforcement officers, find the nearest one, follow him or her for advice. Then based on that information, whatever information I have, I will then call the police. I may not know everything, but I believe that police, SCDF, they will know what they need to do to disseminate the information to the relevant ministries. Whatever I don't know, I'll tell them that's all I know. I don't provide my opinion. I don't guess. They will take charge of that.
And there's another thing, Randall. What about taking photos, especially photos that will upset people later? When can they be helpful and when might such photos be counterproductive? Because some things should not be circulated online at all.
Yeah, so let's look at it from parents. I think that if you are, let's say, someone whose job is a crime scene investigator, they have their own protocols. But as a parent, right, my focus and priority should be on the safety of my child. Now, sometimes information without context can be more confusing than no info. So my focus as parents, I want my child to be at a safe place. So if the place is, what SG Secure tells you, run, hide or tell, right? If the place is not safe, move away. I do not want to expose him or her to greater risk and ask him to go and take photos. To me, all these are incidental. any additional information that can help, we can provide it at a later time. But my focus as a parent is get yourself to a safe place, stay there until help arises.
What would you say are some things we should avoid doing, or do you have any advice that on what we want to definitely not do because it might make the situation worse?
I will share what I would fight the urge to do as a parent. There are a few things. I would fight the urge for myself to comment in the parents' WhatsApp group or Facebook with whatever well-meaning messages that I have, or find out about other parents' children, how they are doing, what's happening. Does anybody know this or that? Or ask Facebook, because I want to focus on my child. I do not want to leave it to public opinion. If there is the possibility to verify with school or direct sources, then I will check in with them. If it's not possible, then I have to wait for further information to be given to me. I will also fight the urge to rush down on site. I remain at home ready to respond, because as a parent, we always feel that we want to do something, but can you imagine if at any school incident, you have 600 parents suddenly showing up at school? We end up being a mob of frantic public members that just hinders everybody. So I will also fight the urge to call my MP, every single teacher I know, every person that I think is associated, because if you think about it, for any public crisis incidents, the frontline staff can either manage the situation or they can answer us. They can't do both. So it's difficult, and I know that as a parent, I would want to do something. But I think the one thing that I can definitely control is me and my wife. We can try and make sure that we are home, available, ready to respond, provide the child with comfort, a hot meal when he or she comes back, and then manage him or her accordingly. I think as a parent, I will have my own opinion about what I want for my child, how I want him or her to be taken care of, administered to. But we must also recognize that recovery from crisis is a process. The world does not revolve around my child. So as a parent of two young kids, I understand that sometimes the care given to them may not be what I want. Now, if that's the case, then I should reach out directly to the caregivers or those who have a duty of care with them and find out, can they do more? Should I seek alternative avenues for additional resources and support, rather than venting my frustration and displeasure online? Then what I have essentially done is to undermine the efforts of everyone involved in restorative behavior.
Thank you very much, Randall, for all your advice. That was very, very insightful and useful indeed. We were speaking to security and safety trainer Randall Xiao. He's also the founder of training agency Exile Solutions. It deals with areas such as self-defense and de-escalation.